Airspace, when you look up at the sky, is that volume of air through which air traffic flows. We share airspace with White Sands Missile Range, with Fort Bliss, with Kirtland, and with Cannon. You can see subsections of airspace, and this encompasses different types in which we can do different types of missions. Green, slightly green over here, is an ATCA, Air Traffic Control Assigned Airspace, and it is the volume of airspace above 18,000 feet above sea level. This other bluish-greenish type is a MOA, Military Operating Airspace, which goes in this particular area from 12,500 feet mean sea level up to 18,000. Then we have the blue airspace, which are subdivisions within the White Sands Missile Range Complex and the Fort Bliss Complex. And this is how we subdivide the airspace into smaller chunks to make it more efficient for Air Force training. Keep in mind that White Sands Missile Range has the airspace subdivided in larger chunks for some of their test missions. We also have low-level routes, which would be indicated by this yellow overlays. And in our low-level routes, we can operate down to 100 feet above ground level. The airspace does overlay the towns at above certain altitudes. So here's Alamogordo, and as you can see, it is under the Wiley East ATCA, as well as Cloudcroft is also under the Wiley East ATCA. Rio Doso up here is under the Beak airspace, as well as the Wiley East ATCA. All of this has been environmentally assessed, but part of that also includes ensuring that we log the location of every dwelling under those low-level routes to minimize the impact to the public. So we do annual surveys throughout all of these low-level routes, and we fly on a local aircraft and capture all of that information. It is part of our job to ensure, per FAA regulations, that we avoid any place where people could be congregating. And so we go out there, get the coordinates while we're airborne, and then create a pretty extensive spreadsheet which has all of this information, which we then distribute to the air crews, and they can log into their own aircraft when they're going to go fly. And so they'll have an actual display of where each one of these locations are. Part of my job is to ensure that we minimize the impact to the public. And I take that very seriously. That's why we fly quite a few hours over our routes to ensure that we log every single dwelling. We're talking over 30,000 square miles that we fly every year, just to make sure that we have logged every residence that could be under under those low-level routes. So this is not just where I work, this is where I live. I've lived here since 2003, and the community is very important to my family and I, and to Holloman. So we're not just living and operating out of Alamogordo, but this is our town.
Traffic, I'm empty now, running approach and right down underneath you too.